Hello, I'm David. I recently did a video which is a tour of my apartment, showed my record room, and in this video I'll show you some specific vintage albums which are recent arrivals to the collection. Hope you enjoy. Allman Brothers, Eat a Peach, and The Shrink with the hype sticker and an old Tower Records price sticker. Backdoor, 8th Street Nights. This is 1973 blues rock, jazz rock, promo copy, white label. The Beach Boys, Wild Honey, in The Shrink. Badfinger, Wish You Were Here, promo copy. (1976) UK pressing of Rubber Soul. (1978) pressing on white vinyl of the White Album with the Shrink original hype sticker and $11.99 price tag. Purple capital label. The Beau Brummels, Triangle, 1967 Baroque orchestral pop. This is a mono pressing on the gold Warner label. The Bee Gees, Spirits Having Flown, in The Shrink with a sideways promo sticker and price sticker. Blackfoot, Tomcattin. This is 1980 heavy southern rock on Atco. Black Sabbath, the first album on Vertigo with the swirl label. Black Sabbath Volume 4 on green Warner label. Blue Cheer, their fourth album from 1969 on Philips. Blue Oyster Cult, Tyranny and Mutation, in The Shrink. Really clean. Budgie, 1976 album. Kate Bush, Hounds of Love. Cactus, their first album from 1970. This is hard blues, guitar rock, really good guitar on Atco yellow label. Terry Callier, What Color Is Love? Really beautiful 1972 soul album. Sounds a little bit like Al Green, but smoky vocals and acoustic. Kind of like folk soul. Just a really beautiful soul album on Cadet. Also, I Want That Chair. Captain Beyond. This is their second album from 1973, and this sounds like a heavier version of the group America. Guy Clark, a promo copy of his 1978 album. The Continental IV, Dream World. This is 1972 New Jersey soul. It sounds a lot like Philly soul, like the stylistics. Really nice soul album, Continental IV. Cream, Disraeli Gears. This is a mono copy, which sounds very different from the stereo copy, similar to the differences in Beatles albums. The Crickets, Remnants, 1973 pop album featuring Jerry Allison, the drummer from the original Crickets, with Buddy Holly. Daughters of Albion, Psych album from 1968, which is actually really fun sound. It sounds like the sequel to the musical Hair meets the Mamas and the Papas with lots of harmony. It's very different from what the cover would lead you to think this would sound like. Deep Purple in Rock on the green Warner label. Demian. This is the duo that was the core of Bubble Puppy, and this is the album that came after that. Really good Texas psych blues guitar. This album should be much more well known than it is. Alright, just to break in here, some of the albums that I'm showing right now I found at an antique mall in San Jose, and I was actually taking video while I was shopping there, so I'll show you that clip here where I found the Demian album, Continental IV, Terry Callier, and Fruit. Probably a few others. Here's the clip. Neil Diamond and the Singer Sings a Song. This is a compilation of his late 60s, early 70s tracks, which are actually really good. Not a lot of people talk about Neil Diamond, but he made some fantastic records in this period, and if you want to try some of that. This is a good compilation. Dion, his 1968 folk album featuring Abraham Martin and John. Yeah. Dr. John, his 1969 album, the one that came after The Night Tripper. And this is kind of the bridge between The Night Tripper and his albums that came later, including this one. This is a copy of In the Right Place in the Shrink on Atco. Yellow, Discovery. This is the album that came between Out of the Blue and the Xanadu soundtrack. This is a white label promo. Elephant's Memory. This album is on the Apple label and produced by John and Yoko, and you can actually hear John's Chuck Berry style guitar throughout this record. Family, Music in a Doll's House from 1968. This is a meticulously crafted Psych album with orchestral instruments. Essential 1968 Psych album. Family, Music in a Doll's House. Fireballet, 1975 album that is pure Prog. This is Night on Bald Mountain. If you like Prog, you haven't heard this album, try it. Free, their self-titled album from 1969. Fantastic organic band sound on this album. It's a little more primitive than Fire and Water or, of course, Bad Company, but fantastic album, underrated. The Free Spirits. This is 1967 jazz rock. These guys really sound like jazz players, and then they are layering kind of primitive vocals over that. This copy's in the Shrink on ABC. Fruit, Spoiled Rotten. This is a 70s band doing covers of 50s and 60s hits. Pretty fun. On Westbound. The Bobby Fuller 4. Of course, Bobby Fuller, well known for I Fought the Law, but this album contains much more than that. Great tracks like She's My Girl and New Shade of Blue. Fantastic album from an artist who didn't live very long after this album. Gale, Garnett and the Gentle Rain, Sausalito Heliport. Really fun, psych, folk, kind of whimsical story time album. Genesis, Nursery Crime, UK import. Gentle Giant on Vertigo, the Spaceship label. The Cheerful Insanity of Giles, and Fripp. This copy in the Shrink on Dirham. If you love King Crimson and you want to hear how they started, this album is an amazing look into the beginnings of King Crimson. Inside the Glass House, 1971 funk soul album. This sounds vocally a lot like the Honeycomb or Free to Pain, but they have male and female vocals, so it's a little bit like the Fifth Dimension. Beautiful soul album. Inside the Glass House. How Deep is the Ocean? The Good Earth. Monocopy. Psych record. George Harrison. Wonderwall music. On Apple. All Things Must Pass. This is a copy with a complimentary sticker. Really clean. The Good Rats. 1969 New York hard garage rock / power pop. On Cap. If you like power pop and the New York sound, check this one out. Hartsfield. This is 1973 country rock with emphasis on country. Really nice recording. Sounds great. This is a white label promo on Mercury. Robert Hunter, his first solo album, Tales of the Great Rum Runners, featuring Barry Melton of Country Joe and the Fish and Garcia on 2 tracks. The Incredible String Band, The Big Huge, in the shrink with a price sticker. Gold Electro label. Marian Segal with Silver Jade, Fly on Strange Wings. This was known as Jade in the UK, and this was the name of the band in the United States. Great folk, pop, psych album. Kansas, Drastic Measures. I didn't have this one yet. Brenda Lee, Let Me Sing. My favorite Brenda Lee album, and she is fantastic. This album is heart-wrenching from beginning to end. If you haven't heard Brenda Lee, give this a try. Decca. Brenda Lee, Let Me Sing. The Left Bank, their first album. Walk Away Renee, Pretty Ballerina, In the Shrink. Baroque Pop on Smash. And their second album also, which is also very good. This one's also on the Shrink. Smash label. Dennis Lind. This is his solo album, and this is him playing Amongst the Trees. He is the author of Burning Love, the Elvis record. Interesting folk album. Little John, Up and Down, from 1972. This sounds kind of like Blood, Sweat, and Tears and 10 Years After. On the back of the cover it says, living in the urban nothingness of Oakland has done much to shape Little John's music. I thought that was funny. Lovecraft, Valley of the Moon, 1970. This sounds a lot like early Chicago, but without the horns, and this band is from Chicago. Muldoon, aka Clive Muldoon. This is just honest, plaintive, soft pop ballads. Reminds me a little bit of Pearls Before Swine promo copy. Jackie McCauley, an Irish musician who originally played with Van Morrison and them. This is a really musically rich album. I'm surprised it's not more well known than it is. Jackie McCauley, folk. Martha and the Vandellas, their fantastic Heatwave album on Gordy. Neil Merriweather, Space Rangers from 1974. This is a monstrous space rock album. Neil Merriweather was the bass player and vocalist, and the band that he had at this time was crazy good. Amazing album that should be much more well known than it is. Patty Miller, 1971 pop folk. Morning, this is their first album from 1970. This copy is in the shrink. Beautiful acoustic pop folk album on Vault. Just really sounds like 1970 through and through. Wildlife, Mata Hoople, great early album of theirs on Atlantic. The Move, Shazam. This is a US copy on A&M. The Move being the Prog Psych band featuring Roy Wood and Bev Bevan, who later were part of ELO. Willie Nelson, Red-Headed Stranger from 1975.